Namaste. So today I'm going to read Book 1, Chapter 20, on Vyasa doing his duties. Chapter 20 on Vyasa doing his duties. The Rishi said, O Sutta, what did Vyasa do when the highest yogi Sukha Deva-like acquired all the excellent supernatural powers? Kindly described all these in detail. Hearing this question, Sutta spoke, O Rishis, Vyasa already had with him many disciples, Asita, Divala, Vesampayana, Jaimini, Sumantu, and others, all engaged in the study of the Vedas. After their studies were over, they all went out to propagate Dharma on the earth. Then Vyasa, seeing that the disciples went to the earth and his son Sukadeva had got to the next world, became very much distressed with sorrow and wanted to go to some other place. He then decided to go to his birthplace and went to the banks of the Ganges, and there remembered his auspicious mother Satyavati, forsaken by him before, very sorrowful, and the daughter of a fisherman. He then quitted that heaven-like mountain, the source of all happiness, and came to his own birthplace. Reaching the island where he was born, he inquired the whereabouts of that beautiful-faced, the fisherman's daughter, as well the wife of a king. The fisherman replied that their king had given her in marriage to the king Santanu. Then the king of fishermen, seeing Vyasa there, gladly worshipped him and gave him a cordial welcome and spoke with him with folded palms thus: O Muni, when I have become so fortunate as to see you, rare even to the Devas, then my birth has been sanctified today, and you have purified my family. O Brahmin, kindly say, what for have you come? My wife, son, and all my riches, and every other thing that I have are at your disposal. Thus, hearing the history of his mother Satyavati, Vyasa erected an asrama on the beautiful banks of the river Saraswati and remained there in tapasya with an enlightened mind. Some time elapsed when the highly energetic Shantanu got through his wife Satyavati 2 sons. Vyasa Deva considered them as his 2 brothers and became very glad. Though he himself used to live in the forest, the first son of the king Shantanu was Chitrangada, endowed with all auspicious qualities, exceedingly beautiful and tormenting his foes, and second son was Vichitra Virya. He was endowed with all qualities. The king, Shantanu, became very happy to get these children. Shantanu had 1 son before, though his wife Ganga, he was a great hero and very powerful, and the 2 sons of Satyavati were equally powerful. The high soul Shantanu, now seeing the 3 sons all endowed with all auspicious qualities, began to think that the Devas were incapable to defeat them. After some time, the religious Shantanu quitted his worn-out body as a man quits his clothes worn out in due time. After the king Shantanu had ascended the heavens, the energetic Bhishma performed duly his funeral obsequies and gave voracious things in charity to the Brahmanas. He did not accept the kingdom himself, but placed Chitrangada on the throne and became known by the name of Devarata, truthful in vow like the Devas. The pure soul Chitrangada, born of Satyavati, became so much powerful by sheer force of his arms and became so great a hero that the enemies felt endless troubles. Now, once on an occasion, the greatly powerful Chitrangada, surrounded by a great army, went on a hunting excursion to the forest in quest of Rurudea, etc. When the Gandharva Chitrangada, seeing the king on the way, alighted from his chariot. O ascetic, a fierce battle then ensued for 3 years on that sacred and wide expanse Kurukshetra between the two heroes, both equally powerful in the battle. The king Chitrangada, the son of Shantanu, was slain by the Gandharva Chitrangada and went up to heavens. Bhishma, born of the womb of Ganga, hearing the above news, expressed his sorrows, and being surrounded by the ministers, completed all the funeral obsequies and installed Vichitravirya on the throne. The beautiful Satyavati became very much agitated by the death of her son, but when the ministers and the high-souled spiritual teachers consoled her, she became glad when she saw that her youngest son became king. Vyasadeva too felt himself glad to hear that his youngest brother had been made king. After some time, when all the auspicious Satyavati's son Vichitravirya attained his youth, Bhishma began to think of his marriage. At this time, the king of Kashi, Kasiraj, called an assembly, Swayamvara, where the kings are invited and the bride selects the bridegroom for the marriage of her 3 daughters. Endowed with all auspicious qualities, at one and the same thousands and thousands of kings and princes from various countries were invited there in the assembly and worshipped duly. They went and decorated the hall. At that time, the highly energetic fiery Bhishma alone, mounting on his chariot, attacked the infantry and cavalry and defeated all the kings assembled there, and perforce carried away the 3 daughters of Kasiraja and took them to Hastinapur. Bhima behaved towards those 3 daughters as if they were mothers, sisters, or daughters, and informed Satyavati without any delay of everything that had happened. Then he called for the astrologers and Brahmins versed in the Vedas and inquired about the auspicious day for their marriage. When the day was fixed and when every preparation was made, the religious Bhishma wanted Vichitravirya to marry them. At this time, the eldest daughter, beautiful-eyed, spoke out modestly to the Ganga's son, Bhishma. O Ganga's son, the illustrious son of your family, and the best of the Kurus, you are the best known of Dharma. Therefore, what more shall I say to you? In the Swayamvara assembly, I mentally selected Salva, and it struck me that he too looked on me with very loving heart towards me. So, to mentor foes, now do what is fit for the that sacred family. O Ganga's son, not only you are extraordinarily powerful, but you are also the foremost of the religious. Salva mentally wanted to marry me. Now do as you like. When the eldest daughter spoke thus, Bhishma asked the aged Brahmanas, ministers, and his mother what ought to be done now, and taking the opinions of all, spoke to that daughter. O beautiful one, you can go wherever you like. Thus saying, Bhishma released her. Then the beautiful daughter of Kasiraj went to the house of Salvaraj and expressed to him her heart's desire. O great king, knowing me attached to yourself, Bhishma has quitted me according to the laws of Dharma. I have therefore come to you now. Marry me, O best of the kings. I will be your legal wife. For already I used to think you as my husband, and you too must have thought me your wife. Salva replied as follows: O beautiful one, when Bhishma caught hold of your arm before me and took you to his chariot, then I won't marry you. You can say yourself, what intelligent man can marry a woman touched by another? Therefore I won't marry you. Though Bhishma has quitted you in the light of another, hearing these words of Salva, the daughter of Kasiraj wept bitterly. Yet Salva quitted her. Therefore, finding no other way, she went back to Bhishma, weeping, and said as follows: O great warrior, Salva did not consent to marry me, as you first took me to the chariot and afterwards left me. O Mahabhaga, you better look to Dharma and marry me, as you know best what is Dharma. If you do not marry me, I will certainly quit my life. Hearing her words, Bhishma said, O beautiful one, how can I accept you when your mind has become attached towards another? So, O fair one, you better go back soon to your own father with a calm, clear mind. When Bhishma said thus, that daughter of Kasiraj did not go back, nor to share shame, to her father's house, but went to a forest and in a greatly solitary place of pilgrimage began to practice asceticism. Now, the other two daughters of Kasiraj, beautiful and all auspicious, Ambalika and Ambika, became the wives of the king Vichitravirya. Thus, the powerful king Vichitravirya began to enjoy various pleasures in the palace and in the gardens, and thus passed his time. For full 9 years, the king Vichitravirya enjoyed the sexual pleasures and became attacked with consumption and fell into the jaws of death. Hearing the death news of her son Vichitravirya, Satyavati became very sorry and, surrounded by her miseries, performed his funeral obsequies. Then she spoke privately to Bhishma with a grievous heart. O highly fortunately son, now you better govern your father's kingdom and see that the family of Yayati does not become extinct. So better take your brother's wife and try your best to continue your family line. Bhishma said, O mother, did you not hear of the promise I already made before my father? So I cannot ever marry and govern the kingdom. Hearing these words of Bhishma, Satyavati became anxious. She began to think as follows: how now the continuity of the family be kept, and it is not advisable to remain idle when the kingdom has become kingless. No happiness can be derived in this state. Thus thinking, she became exceedingly distressed. Then Ganga's son, Bhishma, spoke to her: O respected one, do not worry your mind with cares. Now take steps so as to secure a son from Vichitravirya's wife. Call some best Brahmin born of a good family and unite him with Vichitravirya's wife. There is no fault, as far as I know, in doing thus to keep up the family line. O sweet smiling one, thus having begotten the grandson, give him this kingdom. I will also obey his commands. Hearing these reasonable words of Bhishma, Satyavati remembered her own son, the sinless Vyasadeva, who was born to her during her virginity. As soon as Vyasa was remembered, he, the great ascetic and effulgent like the sun, came there and bowed down to his mother. The highly energetic Vyasa was then worshipped duly by Bhishma and welcomed by Satyavati, and began to rest there like a smokeless fire. The mother Satyavati then spoke to the chief Muni: O son, now procreate a beautiful son from your sperm and the ovum of Vichitravirya's wife. Hearing the mother's words, Vyasa considered them as Veda's injunction and thought they must be obeyed, and promised before her that he must obey and fulfill her orders. He remained there waiting for the menstruation period. When the due period of menstruation arrived, Ambika bathed and had a sexual intercourse with Vyasa and begot a very powerful son, but a blind one, since she closed her eyes at the sight of Vyasa during her intercourse. Seeing the son born blind, Satyavati became exceedingly sorry. She then asked her other son's wife, "Go soon and get a son born of you in the aforesaid manner." When the menstruation period arrived, Balika during the night time went to Vyasa and mixed and became pregnant. In due time a son was born. That child became of a very pale color. So Satyavati thought, the new child too, unfit for the kingdom, therefore at the end of the year again asked her son's wife Ambalika to go to Vyasa. She asked Vyasa also for the same purpose and sent Ambalika to his bedroom. But Ambalika became afraid and could not go herself, but sent her maidservant for that purpose. Thus, from the womb of the maid servant, the high-souled Vidura was born, having Dharma's parts and the most auspicious towards all. Thus Vyasa begot 3 powerful sons, Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura, for the continuity of the family line. O sinless Maharishis, thus I have described to you how my Guru Vyasadeva, who knows well all the dharmas, kept up the continuity of his family, and how he begot sons in the womb of his brother Vichitravirya's wife, according to the laws of dharma, to keep up a family. Thus ends the 12th chapter of the first skanda, as well as the first skanda on Vyasa doing his duties in the Mahapuranam Srimad Devi Bhagavatam of 18,000 verses by Munshi Ved Vyasa. Om Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadra Kali Kapalitra Om Devi